Hi, I'm Craig Bell.
And I'm John Perkins.
I like the small boys version of the hymn Trust and Obey. When he came home from Sunday school, he told his mama, he said, Mama, we've been singing that song, Trust and Okay.
Good for the soul, helping you to thrive. 5 minutes to renew your mind. Take 5.
To celebrate an old man's 75th birthday, an aviation enthusiast offered to take him for a plane ride over his little West Virginia town. The old man accepted the offer. Back on the ground, after circling over the town for 20 minutes, his friend asked, Were you scared, Uncle Dudley? No, was his hesitant answer, but I never did put my full weight down. Well, that brings a great question, John. Can you trust and still be fearful? Does trust coexist with fear?
I think it can.
I do too. And I was thinking of what Job said in Job chapter 13, verse 15, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. And the thought that he was going through what he was going through and said, even though he killed me, I'd still trust him, makes you think that he was going through emotions. Yeah. See, emotions can still be existent and you can still trust.
Brother Craig, in Psalms chapter 56, verses 3 and 4, it says, For what time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. In God, I will praise his word. In God, I have put my trust, and I will not fear what flesh can do unto me.
So he talks about fear and trust coexisting.
Yes.
So sometimes I think we feel like trust is fearlessness, but don't you think that maybe Noah, when the rain started falling and he got that door began to shut and he was shut into that ark, there was a little bit of fear perhaps, but yet a whole lot of trust? I think David, when he ran on the battlefield for Goliath, was a little bit afraid, but yet trusted God enough to say this is his battle. I think Gideon was a little bit afraid when he went with 300 men up against the army. I'm sure fear coexisted with trust, and it's no different in our life. So we can trust God in the middle of being afraid.
I think the difference is, Brother Craig, in Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5, it says, Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not on thy own understanding. So I think there comes a point, we can be afraid, we can be worried about sicknesses, we can worry about COVID, we can worry about diseases and what can happen in the world. We're living in a crazy world, and all that can bring on fear, but then we can truly get into a place that we can just trust the Lord with all of our, saying to the Lord, whatever you have for me, I will accept.
And verse 6 of that Proverbs 3, I like that verse too, because it connects with that. It says, In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Well, one way we could trust God with all of our heart is knowing that he's directing our paths. But we have to acknowledge him there. It says there, we lean not on our own understanding. We trust with all of our heart. We acknowledge him in all our ways. And the promise is he directs our paths. So I guess if God's directing our paths, it's easier to trust knowing that, isn't it?
Yeah. In Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and to them that are called according to his purpose. So all things is going to work good.
So what does trust look like? When I walk into a surgery, I've been very blessed to not have very many procedures. But when I go into a procedure, I may be afraid, but I go in willingly, trusting the doctor to do what he has to do. So trust sometimes can look, John, like maybe being afraid, but walking into your fear, trusting that you're in good hands. And we're in good hands with God. We can trust. And even if he did slay Job, he still could have trusted. Of course, we know the outcome, that Job had a great outcome, and God had no harm for Job, but he blessed him abundantly. The 3 Hebrew boys, they were standing there before the king Nebuchadnezzar and said, Our God is able to deliver us from you.
And he will deliver me from your hands.
And if not,
we won't
bow. So we're trusting regardless of the outcome. Can you trust God even if the outcome isn't what you want it to be? The answer is yes.
Yeah. In 1 John 4:18, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear.
So knowing that God perfectly loves us, we can trust a God like that. His intentions are only good. I love the verse in Jeremiah 29, verse 11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. So God's got plans that we can truly trust, whatever they may be.
Yes. Matthew 6:25, he said, Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what you should eat or what you should drink, nor yet your body, what you should put on. Is that not life more than meat, and the body more than raiment? So Jesus is saying, don't fear of these things.
Trust him.